in spite of the fact that the protest seems to be over, but we have issues about rioting, and even yesterday where the warehouses in Gwagwalada and Kaduna were also looted by suspected hoodlums, and the judicial panel of inquiry being set across states in order to look into how to arrest the situation of police brutality and the notorious disbanded SARS, and how the youths can really fare well in the government of President Muhammadu Buhari. And just a new one also hit the news stream, where we have the federal government announcing 25 billion naira youth investment fund to look at the entrepreneurial needs of the youths. Basically, after school, there's always a difficult one getting a job. And so if you've got the skills, if you've got what it takes, then you can also access funds, the Youth Investment Fund. And this could go in the direction of addressing some of the demands raised by the hashtag EndSARS protest. Well, joining me on this momentous occasion of discussing the way forward in terms of the state of the nation and meeting the demands of the hashtag EndSARS protest, starting from my immediate left, I have a legal practitioner, or the custodian of the law, we also call it them, and he is a member of the judicial panel of inquiry, Edo State. The 22-man committee is set up by the state government, which is being headed by Ada Egiamusoy. He is a member of that judicial panel of inquiry. A.B. Thomas. Thanks for coming, Thomas.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
It's good to know that you're here, because we have a lot in respect of that judicial panel of inquiry. And next to him, we have one-time public relations officer of the NBA Benin branch, and is also a member of the National Executive Committee of the NBA, Ebosele Okifo. Thanks for coming, Ebosele.
Good morning, Philip. Good morning, viewers at home.
It's been quite a while for now. I was almost wondering, will you ever be on this platform again?
You know, COVID-19 has kept us indoors for almost over 6 months. We're just coming out gradually.
All right, starting off with you, A.B. Thomas. Good to know. Though we had harrowing experiences over the hashtag EndSARS protests, but as a start-off point, before we go or delve into the judicial panel of inquiry and other matters, what do you have to say about the development that transpired a couple of weeks back over the hashtag EndSARS protest?
Thank you. The development has been the overbearing attitude of those who have been governing us. It used to be that the future of the country belongs to the youths. But you discover that for the past 40 years, those who have been in charge of this country are still in charge of this country till today. So the youths don't have a future, so to speak. Added to this fact is the fact that there has been so many allegations of police brutality, not to talk of army brutality, where people just do whatever they do without following the rule of law and treat youths as if they are targets for practicing shooting. I have not seen the law that allows a group or a unit of the police force to stop youths on the way and begin to search laptops and telephone sets. You see, you push a group of people to a certain point that they look at the system going on and they don't see any relief or anywhere help is coming from. And when you push them too far, in any society, they are bound to react. That is why these youths came up through the availability of technology to create hashtag EndSARS. And the reason was to carry out peaceful demonstration, to make demands to the various governments.
Okay, and that peaceful demonstration later turned violent.
The peaceful demonstration later turned violent. The issue is, Nigerians must understand that those who started this protest were very peaceful. But like every other aspect of Nigeria, apart from these young men who started this peaceful protest, there are also other young men who are jobless, who have lost hope on the system, who have taken into criminality. They seize this opportunity of this peaceful protest to hijack it and go after public, private, and commercial ventures to be looting. So this is the reason why I feel when you are taking care of yourself at any level, do not forget those who are below. After all, those who are in power in Nigeria today, they are parents as well. They are parents. They were once youths. So the peaceful protest was actually to draw attention of government to the plight of the youths, to the excessive use of force by the security forces, and the government misunderstood the meaning of hashtag EndSARS. They just thought it was only the unit of police called SARS, whereas the EndSARS has
stretches beyond that.
Beyond that, it goes far.
Okay.
They are talking of not only SARS, they are talking of army brutality, they are talking of welfare, future of the youths.
Good governance.
Good governance.
Okay, let me quickly cut in there. Let's look at this whole aspect. Why I was going through some reports by the Lagos Chambers of Commerce and Industry, where he did say that in the course of this hashtag EndSARS protest, we had a loss economically as a nation due to the blockades, the seemingly lockdown. We had over 700 billion naira loss. And again, if you take that into cognizance, you take note of the arsonist activities, a situation where public establishments are burnt, set ablaze, jailbreak, and all other wanton destruction. Is this not again a big pressure on government meeting these demands, looking at what the government has suffered alongside other private bodies?
Well, I would say that first of all, the Nigerian youths have decided to change the narrative. Before, people used to say that when you have a problem, you feel a group of people have problem and they are Nigerians. By the time you chase them to a war, instead of them to turn like a goat, if you are pursuing a goat now and you pursue that goat to a wall fence, it will turn and attack you back in order to preserve its own life. Nigerians had this unfortunate tag about them that we don't complain. We will even tag the happiest people on earth. You understand? That a Nigerian will be having problem, you chase him to the war, instead of him to fight back, he will look for how to destroy that war and keep running. So, but with the action of our youth, they are proving that fact that they are not, they are actually not dormant and that they are passive, they are active in that aspect. Now, the issue of arson, burning, freeing people from prisons and all that is a failure of the government. Why did I say so? Let's use Benin as a case study. Now, the government, they were aware that these people were protesting. If the security agencies were actually very serious and alive to their responsibility, what they should have done is to provide protection for those that are protesting so that it will not be hijacked. If you provide protection for them. As they are protesting, you are by the both sides of the protester. You ensure that they don't go violent. You ensure that they don't destroy anything. Initially, that was how it started. You understand? Now,
okay, are you talking about protection from the security forces?
Yeah, I'm
from the police, for instance, that they are also against. Don't you think that could be a very, very difficult one to handle?
It will not be, because if you are there, at least you have had cause to watch when an army officer was reprimanding a police officer that these people are protesting. Why are you shooting at them? Why are you shooting tear gas at them? Why you should not shoot? Let's just keep our own distance, watch them, make sure that they don't go violent and all that. Now, the Benin prisons was broken into. Now, from the Edo State Police Command to the Benin prisons along Sapele Road, it will not take you 3 minutes drive. From Area Command on Sapele Road by First Circular, it will not take 5 minutes drive. You have 4 mechanized brigade headquarters within the GRA. It will not take up to 10 minutes for them to get to the prisons. Now you ask yourself, how come they were not able to prevent them breaking into the prisons? You had all this security. We have army formation within the city. You understand? They could not stop it. It means they were negligent.
Okay, but now, being that as it is, that has happened.
Yes.
But don't you think this is also a burden for the government? Stretching it towards a point where it may have hiccups meeting the demands.
Now, why do you think? I'll first ask you, Philip. Why do you think the protesters did not go to Central Bank? Why did they not go to Central Bank? Because they knew that in Central Bank there's always a guide of army, mobile policemen, ordinary policemen. They are always there, constant at the Central Bank. Of course, Central Bank would have be the best bet, because they will say to gain entrance into the Central Bank, they will have enough money to loot. If they have to loot money, why allow them go into? Because the issue now is that we are no longer safe. They went in there now. They have freed the prisoners, murderers, arsonists, all sorts of criminals have been let into the public. So you don't even know who you are seeing along the way again. You don't know who you are interacting with. You understand? Because of it, because the government of the day were not alive to their responsibility, because they allow the criminals among the protesters to hijack the protests, because they did not provide police protection to those that were protesting. Okay. If they had provided that, it would have not happened. Okay. You understand? So, of course, it will affect our economy, because everybody is shut down for the past 2 weeks. Nobody went anywhere. So, when you are not working...
So, you're talking about actually government being proactive?
Yes, they were not proactive. They were not proactive.
If that was done early enough, that would have been avoided.
That has not been... in 1989, during the SARS riot, or what, if I can remember correctly, they also broke into the Benin prisons. You understand? So anytime there's a riot of that magnitude, you should know that they will
such abnormalities will occur.
They will go for such facility. Okay, so now we expect that you are proactive. You ensure that you try to take steps to safeguard these institutions. Now in Lagos, they tried to break into Ikoyi prisons, but it was foiled. You understand? Why were they not able to do that? Because the military, they were out there. They ensured that it didn't succeed, and they left.
And maybe they also learned the lessons from
that is
the
what
Edo experience.
Edo experience is not the first time. This is not the first time they are breaking into prisons. So there's already a precedent. So the security apparatus ought to have done their homework very well.
Okay, in meeting the demands of the hashtag EndSARS protests, there was an initiative that was designed and now being implemented in some states of the federal government of the country, and we just hope that it goes round the 36 states, including the FCT. Now, we have issue where the Judicial Panel of Inquiry has been set up in Edo State. We have a 22-man committee of the Judicial Panel of Inquiry, of which you are a member, A.B. Thomas. Now, who will be captured in terms of that will be seen as victims in this whole police brutality, and in this whole wanton destruction and looting? Can we say, because some private warehouses were also visited and looted, can we say those aspects can also be captured? Or what is the overall capture on that?
Well, for now, the mandate of the government of Edo State is wide, in the sense that any person who alleges that he or she has been brutalized
Or suffered losses.
Or suffered losses as a result of brutalization.
Okay.
Not this looting.
Or rioting.
Not rioting. Because for now, we are to look into the causes of this protest. What led to it, what actually happened. And apart from the protest itself, before the protest, who are those who have been victimized or brutalized by the SARS and any other arm?
By the disbanded SARS.
Disbanded SARS and any other arm of the security agencies. If you have such evidence, you come forward, lay your complaint. If the persons are dead, in the case of those who were shot dead, any of the relatives or those who know about them can also come with evidence to prove that this is what happened. And the judicial committee, a panel in every state, will look at their cases.
Yes.
And at the end of the sittings, they will make recommendations, wide range of recommendations, including how to stop future occurrences, then how to compensate those who have lost something. If you, at this stage, this initial stage, extend it to include those who say their warehouses were looted, I can tell you will have some problems at this stage.
Okay.
The problems you have, one, how some of them are still calculating their losses. Some are still calculating. They don't know. Because nobody expected what happened. The EndSARS did not take part in such looting. They didn't. Then, how do you get the culprit? How do you show that your place was actually vandalized? Not everybody has a video or phone, camera, and other things to record. So for now, it is to concentrate on victims of official or security agencies' brutality.
Okay, are you not also extending this investigation or this panel functions to in the protest, like in the Lekki tollgate, for instance?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
We are restricted to Edo State for now.
Yes. I know.
Every state,
but looking at it generally, the panel of
yes,
judicial panel
every state has its own peculiarities.
Okay.
For instance, I am not aware of any Oba's palace in Edo State being vandalized.
Yes.
So Lagos State has that peculiar situation.
Okay.
So we will look at every aspect that will make sure that the youths are satisfied, the victims are satisfied. That is why we are going to call for memoranda. It will be published in the newspapers, it will be on television jingles, it will be online, it will be on radio, so that people can be aware and come forward. If you come and say your warehouse was vandalized, we're not going to turn you back. We're not going to turn you back. We'll listen to you. But for now, we have a very wide terms of reference that we're going to look into. Very soon, you will see the activities of the publicity committee, the press committee, that will go into all this to tell you where you can come to, what you can do to let us hear you.
Okay.
We have 90 days to hear you.
Okay, 90 days. I'll come back on that. In the same vein, we have issues about police brutality,
yes,
which needs to be resolved. And as a way, there's a huge demand on government to stop this. But we still have issues where even when there was rioting, even at the medical stores, and of course at Textile Mill, we have issues where some security agents were also there to forestall such attacks or arson activities. But again, there is this call to action for government and security agents to make use of easy ways of fighting or arresting the process, not necessarily using firearms against protesters. Yes. Do you think that should also be captured by the judicial panel of inquiry?
It is part of it.
Okay, okay.
I'm sure it should.
Okay.
It has to be taken into consideration.
Okay.
Because there's nowhere in the world where you start using firearm on armed protesters. You understand? Except you're under attack. Except you are trying to control the protest, and they have guns and all that. Of course, you have to also think about preserving your own life. You understand? That use arms. You have tear gas. You have you use water. Water canisters and all that.
Even rubber bullets.
You have rubber blank bullets that you can use and all that. And of course, you also have the word of the mouth. You can also persuade. You could even go there with a loudspeaker and you talk to them. Do whatever you want to do, but please don't go violent. Like especially like those that were even going to all these warehouses to loot. They needed not to have been destroying things. If you want to loot quite all right, but don't destroy things. Pick whatever you want to pick. Don't destroy. You understand? There's a way.
When you say if you want to loot quite all right, does the law accept that?
It doesn't accept it, but when you become now helpless, if for instance the warehouse that they went to, you only have about maybe 10 policemen or military men, and you have over 5,000 youths, they want to go in there. How do you control such a crowd? There was even an instance where the military men were telling them, okay, gently, take whatever you want to take and leave. Don't destroy things and all that. Even the resident of one of the senators, he said that he didn't unleash his dogs on them. He allowed them to take over whatever they wanted to take and all that. They started destroying here and there and all that. The man said, I would have been able to unleash my dogs on them, but I refuse to do that.
Okay, but looking at what even transpired, some are of the opinion that the government, both the federal, the state government, should have keyed into ensuring that palliatives were properly shared.
Of course.
Now, what do you make of that?
No, it's pathetic, especially in some other states. Because I know that Edo State is peculiar.
Yeah, because that's where the anger is coming from by the rioters.
In other states, of course, the anger of the people is justified. Like what they saw in Gwagwalada and all that. You see thousands of COVID-19 rice, packaged rice, Indomie and all that, it's being carted away by people, and it has been there. COVID-19, we are gradually coming out of it, and you refuse to share this palliative. That's criminal. I would say that is witchcraft. You understand? On the part of our leaders.
Okay, does that justify the looting?
It doesn't justify it in law. You understand? Okay. But you should know that the first law of man is self-preservation. There are some people. The other day I walked into my office, as I was going to the office, I saw a man, a full-grown man. He told me, please, can you help me with something? I said, what's the problem? He said, I just needed some money to buy that for my kids at home. I said, okay, no problem. Even though I didn't have, the little I had, I gave it to him. And he almost knelt down to thank me. You understand? Such a man now knows that there's somewhere where you kept all those things. He would prefer for you to kill him than for him not to take part in it. So I'm saying that our leaders should have shared this palliative to the people.
Okay.
Why store it up, for God's sake? You cannot even be telling us that you are keeping it for a rainy day. What rainy day? You have to survive till that rainy day.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
So it becomes difficult. So as Nigerians are looking at it, that they only took what rightly belonged to them. You understand? That's the way they are looking at it.
Okay, queuing to what he just said, because Nigerians have been very edgy over what has been happening.
I am in Edo State. I know for sure that Edo State did not hold palliatives. Edo State did not hold. I repeat, and I repeat,
and all those things, hospital.
And I repeat, Edo State did not hold palliatives. Those who went to medical stores went to collect the medical reserves. Yes. What government was saving for the second round of COVID-19. You see, if you have been watching your television, you'll find that most European countries are now facing second round second wave
of the virus.
And what was in medical stores road were not rice and gari. There were syringes, medical equipment that would be needed in case of any emergency.
Okay, do you mean that there were no cartons of Indomie?
Cartons of Indomie.
Those are noodles. I mean,
cartons of Indomie.
Noodles. I mean,
70% of the palliatives that came to those things were medical things that they were taking there. What came to those things like Indomie and others?
Or food items.
Food items, 70% had already been shared. And it will be foolhardy. Let's be honest. It will be foolhardy for you to say, oh, we have the epidemic right now. Everything that came to Edo State, you just share everything at once.
Okay.
It will be foolhardy. Let me tell you straight. Many lawyers have been hoped since March. If all we got before March, we spent everything, yes, we should by now have been in the street as beggars. Yes. So it would be foolhardy for anybody to say because minimum wage is 30,000, you just get it to go and buy a bag of rice of 45 naira. No. You just have to save something. So the state government had some of these things saved. But the basic items for feeding, 70% had already gone.
That's in the place of that's in case of Edo State.
I'm talking of Edo State. I am not talking of Lagos because I am based here and I know what's going on here. So even when we listened to the governor yesterday speak, it was clear that these are medical and some other little items which were being preserved after the bulk of 70% had already gone out. These ones were to be used in emergencies. Do not think that COVID-19 is over. No, it's not over. Because right now, with all this rioting, where no masks were being used, with all these peaceful protests, where no masks were being used, no social distancing, you should expect more to come. And if they come, are you going to go cap in hand to federal government to be begging for assistance? No. No responsible government will leave his warehouse completely empty. You see, let me tell you what happened. And it's relevant to what I'm saying now. During the time of President Jonathan, some governors went to him and said, sovereign national wealth was illegal. They went to court. The man said, what you are talking about? We are trying to save against the future. When the oil price will go down, they said no. Share everything.
We want the share now.
We wanted the share now. And it was shared. And what happened? What happened at the end? Nigerians are now suffering and we are borrowing to finance our budget. But if we still had that sovereign national wealth somewhere, it would have been handy. So Edo State did not hold any palliative.
Okay, let's look at the demands. A way of meeting the demands of the #EndSARS protest. And then the aspect of mobile courts again be set up in Edo State to try suspected vandals, arsonists, and looters. Some of the opinion that, well, since this whole protest by the #EndSARS started all of this, amnesty should be given to whatever persons that were involved in that act.
It will amount to it will amount to those saying it. Excuse me. It will amount to those saying it. Saying that even the prisoners who voted away should be given amnesty.
Okay, I want you to anchor that point.
Well, amnesty cannot be given to those criminals that took over, the protest. It cannot, because the demands of the EndSARS protesters is very clear. One, they say, first of all, compensate those diseases as a result of police brutality. Compensate them. Then improve the welfare of the police salaries. Then so many other issues, some of them, and all that. It didn't just end there. Like we are talking about bad governance. Let us start seeing good governance. Let the government start doing what it ought to do in the first place. So you cannot now say amnesty should be given to somebody that somebody is doing a peaceful protest. You are a criminal, you now capitalize on that. You started attacking people, you start robbing people, and you are caught, then you now be given amnesty. It doesn't work that way. You have committed an offense. You must face the music. Why would people like
what about the looters? What about the looters who weren't even involved in any weapons, but they only went there to pick things? How do you assess that? Because some could also say that this is as a result of hunger. Because I remember you said vividly here that well, even if they have to take these food items, they can take these food items.
I was talking about
so how do you marry it with this aspect of dragging them to mobile courts over this?
I'm talking about the other states that actually had these food items. Because we see them, other states that refused to share their own actually had food items. They had oil for cooking, they had rice, they had indomie, they had so many things that food they ought to have shared. But in case of Edo State is peculiar. Edo State, like it is, 80% of what was in medical storeroom were medical equipments. So if you look at it, I'm sure your crew must have gone there to record the scene. Syringe everywhere, cotton box everywhere. You know, is that palliative? Syringe for children? Syringe for children?
No.
Is that palliative?
Okay,
so
no.
People that did
what's your appeal?
When you start taking generator, you carry generator.
Okay.
Or gas cylinder. Is that palliative?
Let's draw the point. What's your appeal for those who looted? Just food items, but then involving other wanted destruction. What's your appeal for them?
For those who looted food items, if you are caught actually and it is proven that is food item that you took, then of course you could be given amnesty. You understand? But if you are caught and is seeing that actually you destroyed the medical equipment and it was the medical equipment you did away with, the drugs and everything, what are you going to do with it? You understand? Such a person should be prosecuted. You get the point? So that it will serve as deterrent to others. Why do you start looting medical equipments? It's detrimental to those in the hospital or those that will be sick tomorrow. But if you check some other states, you see the food is there. Like in Lagos State, when they broke into the warehouse in Lagos State, we saw rice, Indomie. You understand?
No, you mean food items.
Food items.
Please, we don't need to mention the names of the
food items.
producers.
So those ones, they have explanation. Because for years, a man that is hungry, that does not know where the next meal will come from, he sees food items and he takes.
I don't know if I can come in.
You understand?
You can come in, but just let him finish.
Because that's it. You understand? It will be difficult for a judge to convict such a person.
Yeah.
Because the person will, I was hungry, I didn't have food. And I saw food I had to take.
Okay.
You understand?
So now, there's a law that can capture that aspect.
Because I'm telling you that on passionate ground.
Okay, on passionate ground.
On passionate ground.
Okay, so which means there are discretionary
of course, the judge has discretion. You can look at it and say, well,
you
know, how do you kill a hungry man?
Okay,
he saw food and he took like that. But how do you explain a man taking a generating set, carrying gas cylinder, carrying plasma television?
Okay, Ebi Thomas, where do we draw the line? Because he just made mention of the fact that those who took food items could be given amnesty. Where do we draw the line? Because you are a member of the judicial panel of inquiry.
My left friend is talking on grounds of morality. All right?
Not from the angle of the law.
No, because the law is straight now.
The law and morality go side by side, but they're not the same thing.
Okay.
If you have been talking of looting, and by the word you are using, looting, it means you are violently taking something that does not belong to you. Therefore, you have committed crime. And
which means you are a thief. So the person is a thief.
You have committed crime.
Okay.
And
or a suspect. Because not yet convicted.
You are convicted, you are a suspect. Yes. But you use the word looting.
Yes.
I'm using your word. If anybody goes looting, you can't come and loot when I give you freely. That's not looting. But when you use force to take what does not belong to you in the name of rioting or protest, you are a looter. You have committed crime. So you can't be talking of amnesty. Amnesty will come after conviction.
Yes.
You will be convicted for the offense. Thereafter, you can appeal to the governor of the state to plead that, look, I have committed this offense because I was hungry. But please, pardon me. There is place for pardon in our law. But there is no place for amnesty for looters. That you must understand. Even when you are hungry, it does not allow you to go and steal in your neighbor's house.
Okay, but does the judicial panel of inquiry, are you people having that grounds of giving some leniency in this direction?
We are not prosecutors. Okay. Anytime there are facts and people are brought before us to look at what happened, if we find that there are some people who have committed crime, our own is to recommend
what should be done.
What should be done? We are not a court per se. We recommend that, okay, Minister of Justice, take up these people because they have committed crime and let them be prosecuted, where we find there are enough evidence on the ground. We are not a court. Okay. And at the same time, our own is to investigate, to find out from people with petitions, even where you cannot even write a petition. and you can talk. You can come. There will be a committee to record what you are saying, so that we can really give everybody the opportunity to come and air your grievances.
Good point you just made, but some are of the opinion that, okay, we have 90 days for this panel to bring the resolution.
That is for us to work
90 days.
It depends on how many...
Some are thinking this could be a way of sweeping this whole issue under the carpet.
No. That is not what the government...
It shows they want a solution.
It wants
90 days. 90 days is fair enough.
I can tell you,
that's 3 months.
Among this panel, you have very many EndSARS members.
Okay.
You have other people who are from civil liberty. I am representing the Muslims, for example.
Okay.
We have members of MBA. We have various members from different arms of the armed forces.
So it's a serious business.
Very serious business.
Okay.
We have a retired erudite High Court judge presiding.
Yes.
We have people from Ministry of Justice. MBA is represented. Civil liberty organizations, they are represented. The EndSARS themselves, they are represented. Very vocal people, they are there. We are going to be fair. We are going to listen to everybody. The governor has given us a mandate. Give us your report in 90 days. Do not expect extension of time. That means we can sit on every working day, depending on the volume of petitions we receive. We will sit and do justice to every person.
Okay.
If you look at me, you know I've always vowed never to work for government in my lifetime.
You always say that.
If you know that, and if this one is judicial, not political, and I have volunteered to come and work, it means I am ready to work for as many days in a week as humanly possible.
Okay.
So everybody will have justice as far as Edo State is concerned.
Okay. Let's look at the mobile courts being set up, like in the state, where we have issues of even the NBA Benin branch. I was going through a report where the chairman NBA Benin, Pius Oiwo, was saying that it's not acceptable for mobile courts to be set up to try suspected vandals, arsonists, and thieves, being that there are courts already given that jurisdiction. What do you make of this?
Well, I don't want to join issues with him. It's my chairman. So he has stated the position of the association. You understand? This is my own position. Now, mobile courts, the only way I will find fault with it is if lawyers are not allowed to go there and represent anybody that has been accused or brought before the mobile court. Wherever that mobile court is, what we are saying is that you must operate that mobile court in line with the Constitution. You give them that right. You give them that right to be represented by a lawyer of their choice. You give them that fair hearing. You understand? Once that one is provided, you can hold the court anywhere. As far as you are not denying your fundamental human right of having a lawyer of your own choice, then I don't see anything wrong there. I don't see anything wrong there. You understand? Because the mobile court is going to be headed by a judge. It's a judge, it's a lawyer that is there. So you as a lawyer, me, I'm a private practitioner. If my client calls me, I'm going to appear in the mobile court, and I go there and they said I cannot appear for him, of course I will raise the roof. You understand? Because you have no right to say the person will not have representation. I think that should be the cardinal point of it. Okay. So my MBA chairman saying what he has said, I don't know, probably the facts he has.
Okay.
In addition to what he has just said, mobile courts are not meant for cases where you have to go and investigate and you have to call a lot of witnesses. No. These are, as the name implies, mobile.
Yes.
They have to move. If they see somebody looting and those people are arrested, if I do know that under the Constitution, a civilian can arrest somebody who is reasonably suspect of committing a crime.
Yes.
If I see you in a shop, you are carrying something that does not belong to you, I can apprehend you and drag you before the mobile court. That is the essence of the mobile court. Is to take care of you summarily. If the thing you are alleged to have taken or stolen happens to be your own, and you can prove it before the magistrate who is presiding at mobile court, you will be allowed to go free, whether you have a lawyer or not. But if you are brought before the mobile court
and you insist on
the lawyer, You will be allowed to call your lawyer. You will be allowed to make a 3 minutes, 3 minutes phone call. You'll be allowed. And another point is this. It is called mobile court because it is to try people summarily, very fastly, in areas where lootings are going on. Not that you have to first of all take that person from where the looting is taking place, maybe at Ubowo. Then you start taking him to Satana Market, where you have magistrate courts. Yes. I mean, in between, something can happen. This is the reason for mobile court. And they are not to give long sentences. Okay. They are to hear matters speedily. Expeditiously. But these are essentially to discourage in your word, looting.
Okay, to serve as deterrent.
Deterrent.
Okay.
Because by the time 2 or 3 people are ahead, carrying something on their head like electronics or anything, or you break into any place and you're arrested, the mobile court is there to summarily deal with you.
Okay, thank you. In case you're just joining us as TMI Tuesday, and I've been having a chat with a member of the Judicial Panel of Inquiry, Edo State, on the hashtag EndSARS protests towards meeting their demands, and he is A.B. Thomas. And also, I've been having a chat with one-time Public Relations Officer, NBA branch, and also a member of the National Executive Committee of the NBA, Ebusele Okifo, on the issues raised by the hashtag EndSARS protest and a way of ending it. Now, just recently, it was all over. It's in the news where the Chief of Army Staff did say that the commanders should go against to clamp down on looters, on arsonists, anyone that would want to disturb the peace of the society. Looking at that, I know you also have your voice on it, Ebi Thomas. Looking at that, somehow of the appeal that if the military should come on board on this level, there could be also brutality on innocent Nigerians.
There might be. There might be. Of course, he has no right to have made that call. That's the way I look at it. Because first of all, one, he's a military man, saying that even if somebody is a looter, he still has rights. You understand? If he's caught, the due process has to be followed for prosecuting. I even heard that he even told them that they should forget about ICC, International Criminal Court, that nothing will happen to them, they should do what they want to do. He's joking, because he knows that himself can be held. Anything that happens as a result under his watch, he can be dealt with. He cannot be bigger than the ICC. You understand? So I'm very sorry for him making such statements. You understand? Because even if you say it's just an allegation, if you allege somebody that is a looter, or he has vandalized somewhere and all that, he needs to follow the due process of law, and he will go to prison, he will be convicted and all that. It has to be followed.
Even going in that direction, is it the responsibility of the army?
I have expected that statement to be coming from the Attorney General of the Federation and the Minister for Justice, saying that yes, by the time you do that, we'll do this, we'll do that.
Or even the IGP.
Yeah, so because he is not, so he's supposed to be seen and not heard.
Okay.
We have all this line, this procedure that you are supposed to follow. He's not the one to prosecute. He can arrest. Okay, well, as a military man, if somebody is committing a crime and you make an arrest, you hand him over to the police, because it's not their duty to prosecute. You understand? So if he is not going beyond his mandate, he will have problem.
So he should be called to order.
Yeah, he should be called to order.
I will take this from 3 angles.
Okay.
First and foremost, there is a judicial pronouncement in this country. A court of appeal judgment against the Nigerian army and all other armed agencies except the police, that the army has no power to go into the civil society to maintain law and order.
Yes. It's not within
a court of appeal judgment.
It's not within that purview.
But in the case where there is an emergency,
they don't have
like
power.
in the case of a chaos that we are almost witnessing in Nigeria over the protests.
Are we under any foreign invasion?
Are we under foreign invasion?
Are we under any foreign invasion?
The army is to protect the territorial integrity of Nigeria.
That's it.
That is from foreign invasion. They don't. You see, let me tell you, we are suffering from the syndrome of the long rule, of military rule. That is what we are suffering from. When I was growing up, Philip, when I was growing up, we were not seeing soldiers inside the city. They were kept in the bush, far, far away from the city. They were not allowed to mix with civilians. You see them renting houses in the cities now because of bad governance, which is one of the aims of EndSARS. Have you heard of army going to the streets of London to query out?
Okay, but a situation where we have issues like we just
no.
Because you are trying to run away from that fact.
We have
a situation where there was an attempt for a jailbreak in some states. We had a jailbreak in Edo State. Are you saying that in such a position that they cannot come out of that?
We have the police.
We have the mobile force.
We have the police. We have the anti-riot police, that is mobile force.
Mobile force.
We have the Nigerian Civil Defense Corps. Yeah. They are armed.
Yes.
Have you used this once?
But looking at the number, are you saying the number of the police force is enough to arrest such situation like we had this ugly incident?
Then what do you need the Constitution for? No, we should throw it away. The Constitution is the God norm. The Constitution, I must tell you, is higher than any other law in Nigeria. And the Constitution says the army should not take part in civil unrest.
Yes. That should settle it.
That's it. And not only that, Court of Appeal has given judgment barring the army from taking part in quelling civil disturbance. That's number one. Number two, we have a president, for God's sake, Commander-in-Chief of Armed Forces, who swore on oath
to defend the Constitution.
The Constitution. And you have one of your overstayed chief of army staff, overstayed. All of them have overstayed their tenure. Making this kind of utterance, calling commanders and telling them to go out against civilians.
And he has not been able to do that to Boko Haram.
And you cannot tell him, look, I am the commander-in-chief. I hereby retire you. He has not done that. It appears as if the president, look, let me tell you.
Okay.
Where is Charles Taylor?
It's a prison. The prison. Convicted by ICC.
ICC convicted him. Nobody in this country is above ICC. We are a signatory to the convention that created ICC.
Yes.
If you are a president and you order your citizens to be mauled down because they are protesting peacefully.
Okay, let's see how that will go, because we don't need to raise sentiments. Let's see how that will go.
You raise the issue of
yes, and you've done justice to that.
No. See, let me tell you.
You've done justice to
one, the Constitution does not allow that. Two, there is a prevailing Court of Appeal judgment.
Okay, now.
And lastly, how do you justify in a civilized community, if Nigeria is still civilized?
You've done a lot, A.B. Thomas. You've done a lot, A.B. Thomas. Thank you.
Unarmed.
Thank you, A.B. Thomas. You've done a lot on this. Big thanks to you also, Ebosele Okifo. But let's take this conversation, let's stretch it beyond this level. Now, the whole aspect, when even A.B. Thomas was speaking concerning the meaning of SARS, that is not just only the disbanded SARS, but it also addresses bad governance. Now, there is this aspect of cost of governance, where huge amounts of money are allotted to public office holders, like the federal lawmakers, which is a bone of contention. And people are saying, well, can't we have their amounts reduced to, if not to minimum wage level, or reduced to like 1 million or 500,000, and see how the sacrifice of these leaders would also help in closing the gap about infrastructural decay and all of these issues addressed by the hashtag EndSARS protest. What do you make of that?
We can see that it's because our leaders, including members of the National Assembly and the political class, they have refused to cooperate. They have refused to sympathize with the other majority of Nigerians. That is why we are having this problem. For God's sake, why will a man that goes into the Senate after serving 8 years as a governor, after serving maybe as a commissioner and all that, you now start receiving 29 million naira a month? 29 million naira, you take 29 million naira home. Why the average Nigerian has no job? Why the average civil servant takes 30,000 naira minimum wage.
Well, we may not have the right statistics about the allowances, so please let's not peddle figures, please.
Now, what we are trying to say is that, first of all, there's nothing wrong. Even Sanusi has advised before that the salary of the National Assembly members needs to be reduced. You understand? So why can't they even do that as a public service? Okay. If you look
so
at
they should sacrifice at their end.
They should sacrifice at their end.
Okay.
So that is the change we actually want. You have to prove it to us that you are ready to change. You understand? Then the rest Nigerians will now have this confidence in you that you are ready to actually change.
So that goes across all public office holders.
Okocha, former governor of Imo State, said that the conduct of the political class, the way we display our wealth, our influence and everything, angers Nigerians.
Okay.
You understand? Okay. So because he knows, you get the point.
Thank you.
Now, somebody like Senator Uzodinma, he came to Edo State then, came to canvass for vote in the last something election. Now, the other day I was traveling, I was going to Port Harcourt. I had a matter in Federal High Court, Port Harcourt. We could not pass through the Benin Road. We had to now take through Onitsha, through Imo State. When we got to Igbidi is in Olu local government in Imo State. Incidentally, Uzodinma is from that local government. Now, there's a bad spot there. That bad spot is not up to a kilometer. It's not even up to a kilometer at all. Okay. But you know that we wasted 2 hours in that place.
So there are a lot that the government should focus on.
These are things like we're talking about federal road, like some of us that travel to go for our various jobs. You cannot, if you are going to Ekpomana, you end up spending the whole day. You might not even come back that day.
Okay, thank you. I take that as your final words on this segment.
The money we are talking about, if they are able to cut down on governmental spending, you understand, they cannot address all these issues. The federal roads, almost all federal roads are bad in the country.
Okay.
Why don't they fix it?
Thank you. Ebi Thomas, your final words on this.
My final words. If we want to see how patriotic our national legislators are, let's place them on minimum wage.
Yes.
No, minimum wage like minimum wage of
30,000. Wage of
level 17.
Level 17.
Level 17, yes.
Level 17 civil
service.
Okay.
Let's place them on that and let's see how patriotic. Let's see who will go and campaign to be a senator or a member of House of Reps.
Yes.
These are part of the cost of governance. A legislator has 5 cars. What is he doing? Is he going to be inside 5 cars at the same time?
Okay.
We must reduce the cost of governance so that we can have money
to attend to
other issues like this demands of the EndSARS youths. We can divert the money so that these people who are aggrieved, the police too can also be retrained.
Yes.
The salary of the policeman can also be increased. You give a man your vote, he goes to Abuja, he has 3 policemen guarding him. The youths don't have any policeman.
All right, thank you.
So, cost of governance has to be reduced, and it's one of the demands of EndSARS.
Yes.
The youths have suffered for too long. I'm not more a youth, so it doesn't really affect me. But I see them. I have children.
Yes.
I look at my children and the way they are growing up in Nigeria, and I grew up in this big city. I was born here. This is not how I grew up.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, A.B. Thomas, for taking our time to be part of this. And big thanks also to you, Ebu Selokipo, for taking our time. Well, there's so much you can take on this discussion. Don't forget, shortly, we're going to be bringing you insurance segment. It's the TMI Tuesday.